Indianapolis.
Oh!
The only home the NFL Combine has ever known. The economic impact on restaurants like St. Elmo's, hotels, and how the Combine is showcasing Indy as a global sports tech hub. Plus,
And showed us these and tells,
the Terminator's message and his connection to an Indiana medical device company on a mission to get couch potatoes with arthritis up and moving. And behind the scenes with longtime Colts manager Larry Hall, we go inside owner Jim Irsay's office and what's behind his multi-million-dollar collection of arts and history. Inside Indiana Business is next.
From Indiana's business news leader, this is IBJ Media's Inside Indiana Business with Gerry Dick. Presented by Elevate Ventures and Indiana University.
Hello and welcome to Inside Indiana Business. I'm Gerry Dick. They are putting it all on the line in Indianapolis this weekend. The next generation of professional football stars showing off their skill and talent as the NFL Combine continues at Lucas Oil Stadium. The best college football players in the nation in Indy to showcase what they've got in front of NFL executives, coaches, and scouts. Indianapolis has hosted the Combine since 1987. Back when Fort Wayne native and Purdue star Rod Woodson showed off the skills that eventually sent him to the NFL Hall of Fame as a Pittsburgh Steeler.
Fort Wayne, Indiana has three rivers. Pittsburgh Steelers, or the Pittsburgh has three rivers. My high school team is black and gold. My college team is old black and gold, right? And I was like, it was meant to be.
To be indeed, the NFL Combine pumped some $9 million into the central Indiana economy and is guaranteed to stay here at least through 2026. City leaders also have other big sporting events on the radar.
The draft we're always looking at, PBR World Finals, monster trucks, UFC. All those type of things are things that I think Indy has an opportunity to go after. Not to mention the fact that we're looking at Women's Rugby World Cup matches coming in 2033.
Rugby, one of many sports in England-based Sportable's portfolio, the sports tech company, using the Combine and Indianapolis-based SportsTech HQ as a backdrop to announce it's expanding its footprint in the United States right here in Indiana. And joining me now to break down what it all means to the sports tech economy in Indiana, Sportable's VP of Sales and Partnerships, Blaine Scully, and Sports Tech HQ Executive Director, Jeff Hintz. And gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thanks for having us.
Blaine, I'm going to start with you. I think this sportable technology is very understandable, pretty simple. I know it's complex, but it's basically chip-in-ball technology. Tell me about the guts of essentially what you do.
So it's, essentially what we do is take a chip, integrate that chip sensor technology in the ball bladder, work with the biggest ball manufacturers in the world, and create effectively a digital product. And kind of the way I explain it, I was a professional international athlete for almost a decade. And as I met the CEO and he was explaining to me what he was doing with the smart ball, I realized that I never once had objective data on anything I did to the ball my entire career. And that's really where the light bulbs started to kick off, that I could get information on every kick, every pass, every rep that I had from a skill perspective. And we just kind of evolved from there.
Yeah, rugby is one of the key sports you're into, but really get into American football now. College football, the National Football League as well. So this gives you data. If you're a quarterback and you're throwing the football, this gives you data on a whole host of
release velocity, spin rate, trajectory. Now we're integrating player wearable, so how far, how fast, in combination of the routes that a receiver might run and a quarterback might throw.
You're going to keep your headquarters in London, but what you are establishing in Indiana, and you're announced this week, is your North American Innovation Center. What's that all about?
Well, there's great people here, first and foremost, great partners, like standing next to me, and an ecosystem that we really feel like we can build around. That includes talent, includes testing. Obviously, we have a lot of technology and we have a lot of grand plans around what's on our roadmap, and just feel like this is a great place to do it.
Jeff, what does this mean? This is a great example, I think, of what you're trying to accomplish. The Indiana Sports Corporation has laid out a long-term plan that includes making this a hub for sports technology. SportsTech HQ, some 40 companies you're working with.
That's right. Yeah, this is an incredible win for us. We're super thankful to Sportable and the team. Really on a journey that started well over a year ago. So the courting process and really introducing Indiana and out in the world to talk about the resources and what we have on the ground here. Once we start talking about it, they want to come and see it, and we get them introduced, to the ecosystem, and one conversation leads to the next, and you understand really the power in the network and sports right here in Indiana and what it could do for business for an international company.
This goal of really creating a sports technology hub, this announcement certainly will go a long way. The other companies as well, smaller startup companies, excuse me, it's kind of a snowball effect, I assume. The more you hear about companies locating, growing here, adds on itself.
It is. We've experienced incredible momentum in the last 18 months. We've been able to attract over 20 companies of the over 40 that are here now in Indiana. And yeah, the word is out about Indiana and what we're doing here with sports technology, and supported by our university partners and the NGBs and the other professional partners. It's all here. The ingredients are just right for growth and expansion.
Blaine, I know you've committed to locating in Indiana. Talk about the process now, because you need to select the site and really get down to the nitty gritty.
Yeah, well, exactly. And again, thankfully we have great partners to help us figure all that stuff out. But like we said, we really want to lean into the ecosystem, meeting with Purdue, meeting with Indiana, exploring what those relationships might look like long term. There's obviously relationships at the top of the sporting pyramid here. You think of the professional franchises, but for us, what's on our roadmap too is where does it all the way look like all the way down from collegiate to high school to eventually youth, and being able to do that in a really scalable way. And again, this is a great place for us to anchor down and look to do that.
We'll look forward to following that story. Blaine Scully with Sportable, Jeff Hintz with SportsTech HQ. Thank you both very much. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Well, downtown Indianapolis restaurants score a sizable chunk of that $9 million impact the NFL Combine brings to the city. World-renowned St. Elmo Steakhouse, perhaps the hottest of the hot dining spots for players, coaches, and staff. I spoke with the man in charge at St. Elmo, Hughes Culinary CEO and co-owner Craig Hughes, about the challenges of managing and meeting demand during Combine Week.
Jerry Jones will come in on the same night this year as he has the last few years, and bring the Cowboys in. And so we tend to typically just repeat a lot of the reservations from a traditional scheduling perspective, and then we fill in the rest. And we try to hold back a little bit of inventory to accommodate the local guest and mix them in as well. But it's I think our reservation is call it a game of Tetris.
Much more with Hughes Culinary CEO and co-owner Craig Hughes, including Peyton Manning's affinity for St. Elmo, on the next edition of the Business and Beyond podcast. You can check it out at InsideIndianaBusiness.com starting Monday. Indy's hotel scene also taking off. Here's a bird's eye view of the newest luxurious rooftop hospitality experience in downtown Indy. More on the city's hotel industry and what's on the horizon when we come back. Well, here is a really good visual, a really good look at some of the growth in the hotel industry in downtown Indianapolis, how it has evolved over the years. This is the $570 million Signia by Hilton Hotel, literally popping out of the ground at Pan Am Plaza, now almost 15 stories high. Set to change Indy's skyline and help pump billions of dollars into the economy. Inside Indiana business reporter Mary Rachel Redmond with details now on more than $1 billion in investment now and into the future to keep the tourism ball rolling.
Well, Gary, a picture-perfect panorama of Lady Victory on Monument Circle, courtesy of the first luxury brand hotel to open in downtown Indy in nearly 2 decades. The Intercontinental Indianapolis.
It's a major international luxury brand coming to Monument Circle here, puts Indianapolis on a global stage.
Originally built in 1926, the historic Illinois building was abandoned in 2002, facing demolition. That's when Indianapolis-based Keystone Group stepped in and purchased the site in 2013 and fully restored the property to its former glory.
That landmark lobby, when you come in, was hand-painted. All the gold in there is done by hand, fully restored. 3 elevator banks that were modernized. It looks like it did in 1926. More of an old Grand Dame hotel arrival experience. And then you time shift up to the second floor where it's a completely modern luxury experience. And the second floor where check in, get up to the guest rooms, 170 guest rooms, 17 suites. And then Estrella rooftop bar is the crown jewel of the hotel. 216 seats overlooking Monument Circle.
And while there's no doubt a 5-star hotel just off Monument Circle is a major win for the city, Lockett tells me he sees the Intercontinental's role in attracting more big events and conventions to Indianapolis as a little more nuanced.
For us, our target is to look at the VIPs for those conventions, the C-level executives, the top sponsors, the decision makers for those conventions. We want to make sure that they're getting that luxury service while they're here in Indy, and that's kind of our place in the convention market.
But the Intercontinental Hotel opening is just the beginning.
In the last 5 years, we have welcomed 1,000 new hotel rooms coming online. We're anticipating over the next 4 or 5 years, around 2,300 additional rooms being added to our city skyline, anchored by 800 rooms across the street of the Pan Am Plaza, Signia by Hilton. To grow tourism, we need to grow not only the convention center, but also our hotel offerings.
And the Circle City is doing just that.
Part of those 2,300 hotel rooms that are currently in the pipeline, projects like 21C, includes projects like that Shinola Hotel down at the other end of Georgia Street. 2 boutique brands, 2 very affluent brands, both using historic buildings to help tell the story about where Indianapolis has been and where Indianapolis is going. Ooh.
The only city the NFL Combine has ever called home is Indianapolis. But after next year, that could change, with other cities vying to host the event. But Gall says with the Combine in town this week, his team at Visit Indy has a compelling case to keep the Combine right where it is.
We'll sit with NFL officials, the executives who make up the think tank of whether the event is recommended to stay or to move. Part of our update to them and meeting with them physically inside the convention center will be nearly $3 billion in new tourism-related infrastructure. We're going to be very proud to showcase the Intercontinental opening. We'll be very proud to talk about Georgia Street being reimagined and progress on the Pan Am Plaza expansion, knowing that that will be done by the end of 2026. And as we look to retain the event, we want to make sure they see our city growing and have all the updates on how we're changing and evolving and offering even more hotel rooms and convention facilities to keep their event growing.
Mary Rachel Redmond, Inside Indiana Business.
All right, Mary Rachel, thank you. And Indianapolis International Airport also looking to cash in on the travel dollar. A Marriott Westin branded hotel represents a $206 million investment. It will include more than 250 rooms on the west side of the airport terminal. Rooftop bar, restaurant, meeting space, all part of the plan. The new airport hotel expected to open in 2027.
Here's what's making news around Indiana. Brought to you by the Indiana Association of Realtors. Indiana's 21,000 realtors. The neighbors you know, the experts you can count on.
And we begin this week on the pitch in Northeast Indiana, where Fort Wayne FC has reached a major goal. The city soccer team is going pro and will move to the USL League One beginning next year. Team majority owner Mark Music, the CEO of Fort Wayne-based Ruoff Mortgage, is celebrating the move as part of a 5-year journey.
We're grateful that we have the opportunity to bring professional soccer to Fort Wayne because it's such a historic amount of success in terms of how well they supported minor league sports in the past.
Groundbreaking on a new soccer stadium on Fort Wayne's west side is scheduled for next month. It will have room for 8,400 fans and will also host concerts and a host of community events.
Just being able to realize that I can get up and I can fly this plane by myself. I love the views. I think that's probably my favorite part.
Jeff Air Pilot Services students like Hadley Eder will have a new view when they take off and land in the future. The aviation school to soon begin operating out of Shelbyville Municipal Airport. Jeff Air had been on a year-to-year lease deal with Greenwood Municipal Airport before the city ended that agreement in January. A century-old barn will be home to a new restaurant honoring a Hoosier entrepreneur's legacy. The Lawrence is a farm-to-table restaurant coming to Purdue's Discovery Park. It is named in honor of Lawrence Beck, whose initial purchase of 80 acres in Atlanta, Indiana, northern Hamilton County, would ultimately lead to what is today Beck's Hybrids, the largest family-owned seed company in North America. It will be operated by Cunningham Restaurant Group. Coming up next, the Terminator with a message for millions who ignore pain in their joints.
What are you waiting for? Get to the doctor!
Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Indiana MedTech connection to getting people moving again. More in this week's Business of Health.
Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, knees and toes. Head.
Well, who better to get those dealing with joint pain to do something about it? Arnold Schwarzenegger's latest campaign as Warsaw-based Zimmer Biomet's chief movement officer, targeting those ignoring signs of arthritis. Zimmer Biomet using Arnold's star power to get people talking about joint pain. Business of Health reporter Kylie Valletta here now with more.
You named the campaign. That's the best part. It's called You'll Be Back. So we first told you about Zimmer Biomet signing Arnold to be the company's chief movement officer late last year. The Terminator now has his first assignment with the Indiana-based orthopedic giant. The new You'll Be Back project encourages anyone to log on to the campaign's website to share their story about how joint pain is affecting their life. Millions of Americans over 65 have joint pain, but Zimmer Biomet says less than 5% seek treatment, and they wait an average of up to 5 years before getting medical help. The campaign's website helps users find a doctor and has motivational tidbits from the Terminator, who's had a hip replacement himself. Zimmer Biomet is hopeful their famous chief movement officer will raise awareness about joint pain and inspire people to seek help.
I can tell you we are beyond excited. We have a bold mission and vision here at Zimmer Biomet. We want to solve some of the most meaningful healthcare challenges. And if you're going to go bold, you got to go with the Terminator. We're here to terminate pain, and I love the partnership.
Now, people who share their story on the campaign's website may be featured in a docuseries later this year that Zimmer Biomet is making and have a chance to meet Arnold Schwarzenegger. The Junior Chef Academy battles food insecurity by getting kids in the kitchen, and applications are now open for their next round of junior chefs. 1 in 6 Hoosiers suffer from food insecurity, and that number is even higher among children. The program aims to break the cycle by teaching kids how to cook with fresh ingredients, then take those skills home to their families. The Junior Chef Academy can also be a stepping stone to high school culinary programs that can open the door to jobs in the industry.
My name is Persia Rice, and the reason why I joined Junior Chef Academy is because I thought I could get some new experiences and find something that I could do in life. Also, I wanted to be a chef since I was like 8 years old, and I've had the short culinary cooking class. So I think that this could help me on my way to be like Gordon Ramsay.
Like Gordon Ramsay, for sure. Students ages 12 to 15 can apply on the Junior Chef Academy website. At the end of the program, the students compete for a ticket to advance to the World Food Championships, which take place right here in Indianapolis. And, back to that Zimmer Biomet story, they are one of the biggest orthopedic companies, not just in the country, but in the world. And just to give you a little bit more Indiana flavor, when they were Zimmer Biomet separately, they were both still founded in Warsaw before Zimmer acquired Biomet. So much Indiana flavor to that story. And this has been a really creative, fun campaign to follow.
That is cool. What's the name of the campaign?
To do it again. You'll be back.
Okay, good. I like that. Great job, Kylie. Thank you.
Time now for our Eye on Education, brought to you by PNC Bank.
Well, in case you missed it, Indiana University President Pam Whitten is getting a raise and a contract extension. The IU Board of Trustees voting to bump her pay by $200,000 and extend her contract by 5 years. When the raise goes into effect, Pam Whitten will make $900,000 a year, making her the fifth highest paid Big Ten university president. Boilermakers are back in Indiana after a trip to Los Angeles to help those affected by the wildfires there. Professor Andrew Welton has spent years focusing on restoring drinking water systems after major fire events. He, along with a PhD student, spent time sharing observations and expertise with local groups leading the recovery effort. Well, STEM education is expanding in Southwest Indiana. The NMAC Design and Innovation Training Studio is now open on the University of Evansville campus. The facility is the third of its kind in the state and will offer hands-on experiences for students and teachers. When we come back, a must-see. We go inside Colts owner Jim Irsay's office and take a look at his collection of tens of millions of dollars worth of art and culture. Well, we close our show this week by sharing conversations we've recently had with Indiana business influencers, pushing the state's more than $9 billion arts and cultural agenda forward. First, Pattern Editor-in-Chief Polina Osharov.
We hosted Indiana's first ever Creative Economy Summit, bringing together 225 leaders and innovators to brainstorm, problem solve, and collaborate to figure out a brighter future for Indiana's creatives.
Polina Osharov now spearheading her third Indiana Creative Economic Summit. She says the overarching goal goes beyond traditional forms of art.
We are more focused on the commercial industries like filmmaking and music, aka entertainment, like design, whether that's fashion design or graphic design or industrial design. We're thinking about, in particular, the digital economy. So content creators, your YouTubers, your podcasters, folks on social media, people who are building out video games, massive, massive economic impact that's happening there.
That's one of one. It's priceless. You know, you can't get another one. That's the one that was on stage with Bob Dylan when he went electric, plugged in, and half the people cheered and half the people booed.
That Bob Dylan guitar, part of the inspiration for the Oscar-nominated film for Best Picture, A Complete Unknown, displayed proudly in Indianapolis Colts owner Jim Irsay's office. Another big proponent of arts and culture in Indiana. Irsay's office is a place where few people get to see, but longtime Colts employee, former ticket manager, now the caretaker of the Irsay collection, Larry Hall, he took us in there for a rare behind-the-scenes visit, and he talked about Jim Irsay's passion for collecting.
The collection as we know it today, really 2001, when he acquired Jack Kerouac's On the Road Scroll, which is really sort of the foundational piece for the Beat generation. And from there, it's over time, he really was known for collecting guitars. There's over 200, I think we're up to 227 guitars now.
And you are not going to want to miss this look inside Jim Irsay's office. The collection of guitars and other memorabilia is truly amazing. He'll be on a podcast with us coming up, as will Polina Osharov as well, as she talks about Indiana's creative community and the potential impact that it has from an economic standpoint statewide. Both of those podcasts will be featured in the coming weeks, and you can see all of our podcasts, listen to them, download them at InsideIndianaBusiness.com. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Inside Indiana Business. We leave you this week with the IndyCar season opening this weekend in St. Pete, and with the Indy 500 just that weekend, just roughly 80 days out. Go out and make it a successful week.
But at 240 miles